Okay, welcome, my dear friends. Am I audible? Okay, am I audible? Very good evening to all the participants and respected resource person, Dr. Tirunahari UGANDHAR sir, Associate.
So today we are a nomenclature and taxonomy.
Welcome, sir.
Okay. Nomenclature and taxonomic resources. So what are the nomenclature and taxonomic resources, which are a major steps for the taxonomy? So these are called a kingdom, division, class, order, family, also called a family, genera, and species, which is steps of the classification. So what are the means of the nomenclature? So this nomenclature is given the binomial nomenclature, the plant's name. The taxonomy is defined as the also called as science dealing with the study of a classification, nomenclature, and identification. The three type of the steps incubated based on the principles, rules, and also procedures, which are a Simpson 1961. In a simple word, the science of a identifying name. First, identify the name and classifying plants, animals, or other organisms, which are a group to meaning of the taxonomy. Taxonomy is a Greek word to the arrangement, and namas means rules of laws. Then also the term taxonomy was coined by the Alfred de Condorcet in 1813. In this taxonomy or this famous work, theories are eliminated of a dinner Sudela Botanique. That book was written by the Alfred de Condorcet scientist. So what are the taxonomical levels? How many taxonomical levels, which are studies in the alpha taxonomy, beta taxonomy, also gamma taxonomy, based on the three types. So the science are of defining and naming the arrangement organisms of plants and animals. Both are called in alpha taxonomy. In this stage, the species are identified and characterized on the basis of the gross morphological features. Only morphological features are based to classifications and first one is the identification, second one nomenclature, third one is also classification, that is got alpha taxonomy. The second one is also normally beta taxa, the science of understanding the relationship in taxa. In this stage, the species of arrangement lower in higher categories. Lower means the primitive organism to advanced organism arrangement. That studies are beta, that is also morphological character. Then gamma taxonomy in this stage. So intra-specific differentiation and evolutionary history are studies. Evolutionary history means then phylogenetic characters are based to classification. that is called a alpha, beta, and gamma tags aggregation. So what are the means of the systematics? So the systematic is the study of a, you say, so the diversification and also called relationship of the life forms, or a life means also organisms, or and that is also plants and animals, the total qualities which are completely description based on the morphologically and floral characters. So then Simpson in 1961 defines the systematics is the scientific study which deals with the, say, kinds and diversity of the organisms of a of any all of the relationship among them, the relationship of the plants and animals, and also the relationship plants and environment. That is the total is also got a systematics. So this word, the systematics word is a, comes from the systematics word, which is also the word systematics derived from the Greek word. The systema means applied to the systematic or systems of classification and developing by the lineage. So in the fourth edition of is a dynamiculars. The fourth edition of this are historical book Systema Nature in 1755 or 1735. That year is also lineage book. The relationship in a systematic and a taxonomy. The taxonomy includes the classification, nomenclature, but systematic includes the both taxonomy and evaluation character. The evaluation character is advanced. Then the morphology character, that is got systematics. There are two parts of the systematics. The first part of the taxonomy is concerned with the description and naming the different kinds of organisms. First one naming, identifying. First one identifying. Second one naming. Third one is the naming of the organism to group into the classification. The second part of the systematic is evaluation is a concerned with the understanding just how all these are kinds of animals and also plants are arose there, how they are considered correlated each others. What are the connections are between these two? That is also the three major characters are called the two, based on the two is also called a systematic branch of studies. The basic components of taxonomy and systematics is called principal components of taxonomy. First one, the principal components. The second one, the principal components of systematics. What are the differentiation means? The principal components of taxonomy, principal components of systematics. This is also just one, only two or three character different. First one in the both are the principles of taxonomy and the principles of systematics are both are similar. Description, identification, nomenclature only. But then also classification is a special in a principles of a taxonomy. But systematics is a classification is a just one nomenclature, phylogeny and after classification. Before classification, phylogeny means arrangement of the primitive to advanced, or lower organism to higher organisms, or arrangement after arranged to classify the plants. That is called systematics. So this is also basic and a components of the taxonomy and systematics are both are they can convey. So the description of the specimens are involving the listing of the features by regarding the appropriate characters or status. So the description is also called regarded to the same pattern or set of the pattern, habit, stem, also leaves, flower, sepals, petals, stamens, androgen, and fruit. That is also in the flowers, sepals, petals, androgen, gaination, four major characters. But the petals character is also important role into the phylogenical classifications. So then the description of assign features. The character is also feature is also petal color first point. Petal color also called a petal color red, like white. That is also one. But then characteristic of the recorded the proper documentation of the data. The proper documentation is also one important. Then second one, first one you will go to the identification of the plants. So this identification is a determination of the recognition of the unknown specimens. Unknown specimens means which is also the name which can call the different areas to different names, not only same. That different area means in the state wise, in the village wise, in the language wise. That's the total common name is also most important. We need the common name to all of the every area to only one plant name. That is called a scientific name, also botanical name. Unknown specimens. So unknown specimens are also already known the taxon and the also called assessing the correct say rank and a position of the existent classification. What is the rank? The six, the major, so called six or eight ranks are classified. The first one is the division. Division is also division, subdivision, next class, next one order, suborder, family, genera, species, and also types, also variety, ranks. This is also arrangement. So this arrangement of the alternately the specimen may also be sent to the experts in the field who can help in the identifications. Well, how to which character based to identification and habitat, then petals color, sepals color, then flower, total flower, and symmetrical characters, and also called a sexual or bisexual character. These are several characters are major to important role to identification of the plants in scientific level. But here non-scientifically, the names are not confused. So identification can also be achieved using the various types of the literature, such as floras, also called monographs, also called also called manuals means the practical manual. This manual is also one characters are there. Huh? Okay. So these are the identification can also be achieving the using various types of the literatures. So then also these methods are that described also becoming the popular over the recent years, involving the taking a photograph of the plants, the monographs, also manuals, also got a flora, which is a major to identification of the photos are available on the book. That photo based to identification of the plants are that is easy process. The uploading of the pictures also got a website and information. In the website information, the members of the appropriate say electronics list to also got a new groups. So who can see the photograph at the website and send the comments on the equators. This is also one important quality. Then tree, then leaves, symbols are, then after compounds are, it is one character, leaves, pinnata, palmata, then herbs, flowers are red in color, flowers white colors are. Identification means associated unknown with the unknown characters of the plants. What are the means of the nomenclature? So this nomenclature is which can divide into the 4 or 5 types of the nomenclature. The nomenclature is a DLC with the determination of the correct name of the taxon. Which taxon? Plant taxon or animal taxon. This is plant taxon, bacteria, and also called protozoans and algal members, then also bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. These are different. So these are different sets of the rules of a different groups of the living organisms. The nomenclature is given by the different codes through its rules and recommendation. Codes means also Vena codes, also got a Decandol codes, also got a Shine codes. This is also very different codes means that area, that period to calling separate principles are based to identification of the plants. That is, so plant, fungi, and algae, the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, ICBN. So now changes of as the International Code of Nomenclature of algae, fungi, and plants means ICN, not ICBN. ICBN means International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, but not only botanical. B is also removed. That name is also International Code of Nomenclature of for nomenclature for algae, fungi, bryophyte, pteridophyte plants. That is us. ICN names. Then not ICBN is a old word. That ICN is a present words. The animals, International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, ICZN. Then also bacteria. Then International Code of the Nomenclature of Bacteria, ICNB. Are now called the Bacteriological Code, BC. Bacteriological code, virus also there, International Code of Virus, International Code of the Virus Classification and Nomenclature, then ICVCN. This is a also one characters, means these are all nomenclatures, means nomenclature means determining of the correct name of the taxon. Taxon means unknown plant, unknown living organism, or unknown plant or animal or bacteria, algae or bryophyte, pteridophyte, anyone. So this is also then the only algae to plants, algae, fungi, plants, that is got ICN, International Code of Nomenclature. But then also got animals, ICZN, International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, principles and rules, which is there. So then bacteria, International Code of the Nomenclature of Bacteria. That is also. Then virus means also International Code of the Virus Classification. ICV is important of the nomenclature which are reported by the scientist of the taxonomy. Then also phylogeny classification. Which what is a phylogeny? Means evolutionary character is additionally it may be used to the classification of the classified the plants. The phylogeny is the study of the ancestor relationship and evolutionary history of a taxonomy group. Then relationship are so is depicted through the diagram known as a phylogenetic tree. This is also phylogenetic tree. These are ancestor lineages are. Then also it is a common taxon, taxon A, taxon B, taxon C, and D, E, F, and so this one is a B and C also, and a systematic also sister taxonomic. So this what is the means of the classification after nomenclature after classification. So this classification is the arrangement of the organism into groups on the basis of the similarities. So these the groups are in a turn also got assimilated into the more inclusive groups. So until all the organisms have been assembled into the single most inclusive groups. Single group or more groups. So in sequences of increasing the so inclusivity, the groups are assigned into the fixed hierarchy. Fixed hierarchy means the low grade to high grade, the species, genera, family, order, class, division, subdivision. That is also the lower to higher hierarchy. Hierarchy. The process of the classification includes the assigning the approaches, position, and ranks in a new taxon. Taxon, a taxonomy group, also called a plural means taxa, singular means also taxonomy group. Then also it is also the phonetic classification and a phylogenetic classification. This is also two types of them. Then phonetic means based on the overall similarities from all similarity characters are based to available in a sources such as a morphology, anatomy, embryology, phytochemistry, ultrastructure, and in the fact of all other fields of the studies, that is also phonetic classification. So those organisms are most similar or are classified more closely together based on the above all characters of the morphology character, anatomy, embryology, phytochemistry, ultrastructure, and all similarities to that is called affinity classification. Then phylogenetic classification based on the known evolutionary history classification is a refers pattern of evolution classification, not ambiguous. Means evolutionary means only based on the major qualities. Advanced plants, also primitive plants, which are identified in separate in groups, that is called phylogenetic groups. Then also application of the systematic in biology. What is that means? The systematic is the study diversity of organism, include the past and present of relationship among the living organisms. Past, so last and the previous days and present days, what are the relationships? So these relationships are old type of the previous days. The classification is also called a nature classification, but here presently, which is also phylogenetic classification. So the effect of the systematics provide a scientific names of the organism, the description of species, the species of a ordering the organism to higher diazer to lower diazer, the classification of the organism and evolutionary histories. Higher to lower means then primitive organisms are first classified, then after advance. That is also old age. Here is advanced to primitive. That is the systematics is the foundation for a comparative biology. The systematics provide a basis of biodiversity, conservation properties, priorities, conservation priorities. It is also the systematics produce a basis of documentation based on the documentation of an organism, so that subsequently investigation can be confirmed the identification of the plants. So it is one character of base to classification, that is called a application of the so these principles and rules of nomenclature. So nomenclature deals with the application of a correct name to a plant or taxonomy group. Correct name means scientific name, also got a needs for scientific names, correct name, which denoted that need for scientific names. Vernacular names are not available for all species. So, example, in this vernacular names are and they restricted in their usage
ಏನಕ್ಕ
and the applicable to the similar to a few languages.
ಅವಳು ಬಿಡ್ಸ್ಕೊಮಲ್ಲ ಆ ಪಂಚೆ ಕಟ್ಕೋದು
Nuclear names are a language to language changes. But here the scientific name is also does not change the language. Only single language may be used to the denoting the plant's name. That is called Latin language. Latin. The few languages are only they are on universal in the application. That the common names are usually do not provide information. Common names, but here scientific name provide all informations that indicate the family or generic relationships. Family. So then the two are a more unrelated species are known by the same common names. Common names are unrelated, means just related plants also grouped into the same names. That is also confused. Means the one nuclear name is only following to the say non-educators. That scientific name is also which can denote the scientist, also called a botanist or taxonomist. Then ICBN, now ICN, International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, is now has been changed to the